Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sarah Jane, your hostess, and this week I have great pleasure in welcoming back to the programme Sika Deer, who I had great pleasure in going to see live a couple of weeks ago when he was actually here in Bournemouth. He's still in the UK, but when he joined us earlier this year, he was at home in New Zealand. So it's great to have Sika with us, and I'm going to introduce you to Sika, and then we're going to come to Sika and ask him to share a little bit about himself. Sika is an international didgeridoo player and multi-instrumentalist, producer, painter, storyteller, and recording artist. At the forefront of tribal-influenced music in the 1980s, he helped popularize the didgeridoo worldwide. Sika has traveled extensively, learning much from the indigenous tribes he has spent time with. This knowledge and experience is incorporated into his music. Much of what Sika composes comes from his deep connection to Great Spirit, intuitively bringing forth the music that waits in the beyond, ready to be created. As a result, his music holds downloads and sacred energetic tools the listener is able to access to facilitate awakening and transformation. And I can definitely say that's true, having experienced it. Sika, welcome and thank you for joining us on the program again today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Excellent. So would you just share a little bit, because okay, I can see that you've spent time with the tribes, but how did this all come about for you? Share a little with us, please.
Yeah, I'd love to. Originally, when I was a small child, I was a painter and an artist, and my family and I always knew that that was what I was going to do. So from a young age, there was never any expectation other than that I was going to be an artist, which made life a lot easier for me to be able to do what I do. So I say that there hasn't really been a huge sort of radical lightning bolt and a major change of direction for me. My whole life has been a steady progress of being a creative person. And what I'm doing now is really expanding my repertoire of mediums so that I can actually create using music or visual media like painting and drawing. So after going to art college and studying photography and fine art painting, I started living in a teepee, and during that time I was given my first didgeridoo, and I was only interested really in doing ceremony with it. So the first 2 years of me playing the instrument were me sitting down quietly, actually learning how to play it, and using it in a ceremonial way outdoors, next to the rivers, by the fireside, by the trees, in sacred places, stone circles, sitting on rocks. I'd go and find little caverns and get the sound reverberating back to me. And I would use the sound to close my eyes and to immerse myself into the natural world, into a spirit-based reality, into a different consciousness. And that was my only focus in doing it. I never intended to be a performer and an entertainer. And to be honest, I don't really consider myself to be that now. Although a lot of people will know that I now do sound journeys and I do concerts. And I do make the distinction between the two because the concert is generally received as a new audience by people with their eyes open, sometimes dancing. So it's bordering on entertainment and it is more outwardly received. But it is still the same intention, really, which is to enable us all to journey into altered states of consciousness and to connect deeply with ourselves as part of nature. So the journey really started like that. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I must admit, listening to some of the music, because I was at the, as I said, the Bournemouth sound journey that you did, and there were some of the music. There were times when my body really wanted to move with it. I know it was very much the closed eye, and so many people were lying down, just allowing the music to wash over them. And I was really enjoying that experience. But there were times when my body was saying, I'd really like to move to this. It's absolutely brilliant.
I hear that quite often, and at the beginning of the sound journey, I do say to people that there are no rules here. If you do want to move, then move, because we can get into an altered state of consciousness by moving, by swaying, by being on our feet and moving and dancing, or with our eyes open. You know, it is entirely personal. I mean, think about the classic sort of archetypal dancing around the fire, chanting. You know,
yeah,
far cry from lying down on a yoga mat with your eyes closed, which is also very powerful, but you know, it's different each time. And I say that about sound journeys now. It's like sound journeying is becoming a very popular thing these days. It's kind of like a recognized terminology, and we all come along having certain expectations of what we're going to receive. But in actual fact, what we could receive is a very wide range of things. You know, some of the pieces of music, as it like, or sound that come through when I'm doing them are very strong and very rhythmic, and you could easily dance to them.
yeah.
And, other times it's very spacious and very serene and gentle. For me, when I have my eyes closed and I'm on a journey, I can be floating in any sort of situation, you know, maybe flying through the air even, and then absolutely, you know, as quick as a flash, I could be accelerating at rapid speed, you know, down a tunnel, you know, at a different tempo and a different energy. And then as soon as that, you know, I can just be flying through into a different time and space. So it changes really rapidly.
Yeah. Oh, and the experience for each piece. I mean, we were talking about it before, because it wasn't the first time I've experienced one of your sound journeys. In fact, it's the third time, I think. So I'm feeling very blessed to have experienced them live, and I'm really, really grateful to you for coming on, joining us, and sharing this meditation, connecting you to your sources of power. So actually, I'm happy to hand over to you now. And folks, be guided. I know we've got a number of people watching already. They're all keeping very quiet. They're not saying they're here, because I think they're waiting to experience the wonderful energies. And folks, afterwards, please feel free when you come round to share your experience, ask questions that I'll ask to Sika for you. Quite happy to do that.
Yeah, please do ask me some questions about this, because it is a fascinating subject and we can talk a lot about it.
Brilliant. So I'm going to hand over to you, Sika, and I'm really looking forward to this. I'm going to participate.
Great. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us on a journey, and we're going to start this journey with my spoken words, and then after a while I will stop talking and I'll be playing just music, and then at the end of the journey I'll bring you back with my spoken word. So allow yourselves to get comfortable in whatever position you feel. Allow yourself to relax your mind as much as you can. This is not meant to be a mental exercise. This is more of a mental relaxation. You're in a thick forest of ancient trees. Ancient trees covered in moss. There's a damp smell. The ground is covered in moss. The sound of birds cawing and calling through the sky. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves of the trees all around you. Sunlight sparkles through. The occasional pool of light attracts your attention, and the trickling of water from a little tiny stream. You're walking through the forest, the sounds of nature all around you. Ahead of you is a dark part of the forest, and you move swiftly towards it, eager to see what it holds. You approach a huge cliff, and the cliff has a veil of thick ivy cascading over it. As you move towards it, you realize that behind it is the entrance to a huge cave. You reach forward and gently part the ivy and enter into the dark cave. The smell of the cave fills your senses, and the sound of the daytime forest fades away behind you. Inside the cave, the gentle dripping from stalactites and the trickling of water is all that you can hear. Through the dim light, you slowly pick your way through into the cave further, further and further into the darkness. The silence of the cave all around you. Your eyes adjusting as much as they can until eventually you're in the pitch black of the cave. Your hands go down and find the soft, cold touch of the wet, sandy cave floor. And you crawl through the cave into the complete darkness, like a baby returning home. Gradually, gradually, in the far-off distance, your eyes see the faintest, dimmest beginnings of light. Crawl towards it. It gets brighter and bigger. The sound of the cave begins to fill with the sound of birds. As you approach the outside world at the far end of the cave. You rise to your feet as you can see where you're going, and the light gets more and more, and eventually you emerge from the cave into a whole new world. You hear a voice calling you back to the cave. Gradually ascending back to the entrance of the cave. Into the cave, into the darkness. The sound of the other world fades into the distance as you find your feet into the darkness, back into the smell of the dank, cold cave. You drop to your knees, and your hands once again feel the cold sand as you crawl into the pitch black. Gradually your ears hear the sound of the other world, the one you left originally. This time, the sounds of the birds of the forest mix with the laughter of people. The light gradually returns, and as your eyes adjust, you see the thick veil of ivy before you. You take a moment to give thanks. You stand to your feet. You part the ivy. You leave the cave and walk back into the woodland in the forest. carrying the messages, the memories, the spirit of where you've been, in your heart. The whole inner world has changed from what you experienced. You feel a lightness and a depth at the same time. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back to this world.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant. Folks, when you're ready, if you would like to share any of your experiences, please do. I know that Linda has joined us from New Zealand, our guest from last week. And we've also got, oh, I'm not sure how you say that, Marieka, Jos in Holland, Leonie, also in Holland, and Peter hasn't said where he's from, so no, I've got more than that with us, but they've said hi. I'm going to share a little bit about my experience that for those that are aware, with me, I have a great connection with dragons, and they didn't let me down in this. Went into the cave, and you said that going down onto your hands and knees. But first of all, I felt I was in Wistman's Wood on Dartmoor, which is an ancient stunted growth oak trees, ancient wood. Have you been there?
Rocks completely covered in ivy, in moss and lichen, and really gnarly, stunted, sort of sculptural oak trees.
Yeah,
full of velvet Davic realms, full of trees and nature spirits.
Yeah. So that's where I found myself. I felt in Wistman's Wood, and then went into the cave, onto my hands and knees. And I know you'd said to come out the other side, but actually I didn't. In fact, I found myself curled up in the fetal position, but I'd already very much become aware of what I'm fairly certain was my dragon, but there was other dragon energy there. And I felt myself being totally curled up with a dragon. Whether it was my dragon, whether it was my dragon with other dragon energies, I don't know. But I felt my dragon, but I felt earth energies as well. And then the music changed, and it had a real beat to it. And it was almost as if I was growing, and I danced out of the cave. And it was the energies of earth. It was all the energies of earth. I've felt I've been connected to the earth anyway, and it just reiterated that the energies that are the strongest with me are the dragons, the earth energies, and that's where I'm. Beyond that, I don't know. It was definitely coming back, definitely trusting the dragon was still there. Didn't need light because actually I was almost holding the tail of the dragon, being guided back through. I didn't need, and I felt totally safe and protected. And coming back out the other side, it was an amazing experience. So thank you very much for that. We've only got very little comments here, but we've got Malath. Did I see? Yeah, Malathi's here from Sri Lanka as well. So so we've got okay. I'm sure I'm pronouncing the name wrong. Marieka says, "Wow, what a journey! Thank you." Was that all intuitive? Is the question she's asked you?
Yes, is the simple answer to that. I very purposefully don't put a structure on what I'm going to do. The journey for me to learn to play these instruments like this has been as much about playing them as it has been about learning how to quiet my mind and get out of the way to let spirit come through. So completely in the moment, guided in for this occasion. Just yeah, totally intuitive. And people often ask about, well, what is the process to get to that point of being able to do that? And I think the simple answer is to just always trust your intuition. So when I have a voice in me that says, play this or play it like this, I do it and I don't question it every time. And as a result, it has grown and grown, and it's kind of more of a exponential curve these days.
No, it was brilliant, brilliant. Thank you. Right, okay. Malathi says thank you. Gwenny says hello from England. Wow. Marieka, I think she's talking about the almost in my pronunciation of her name. She's saying it's Dutch. So we've got several people from Holland here by the sounds of it. Linda, I so know that wood magic. Amazing. This is Mariek again. Amazing. I went to a subtropical forest, ran with a black panther, flew on an eagle.
What I suggested to everybody is if you have any sort of experience that you'd like to recall, write it down or draw it, and then you can come back to that at a later stage. And I have stashed away sketchbooks with writings in them for literally decades, and come across them one day and open them, and they are so meaningful to see later on. But many times the true meaning of things experienced in this realm doesn't show itself until later on. So take the time to note it down.
Brilliant, thank you. And then we've got Jay. That was so beautiful. Thank you. Linda, can you tell us about the round instrument that looked hollow but played a beautiful sound?
This, I think. That is called a sansula. It's based on an African kalimba or a similar sort of thumb piano. Only this one is a modern version, and it's mounted on a membrane. So it's like a drum kalimba thumb piano. It's very beautiful, isn't it?
Very.
And you know, the sound of the earth coming through the didgeridoos is such a primal sound, and it's so strong and powerful and full. Like there's a very fat spectrum of sound and sonic frequencies going on, and then this just comes through like a pure sort of spring or something emanating from the earth. You know, it's just very light, very soothing to the soul. I'm most interested in putting things next to each other that are quite different, and they emphasize the power of each one. So maybe even within one instrument, playing the didgeridoo and playing very spacious, very arrhythmic piece, and then going straight into a very strong, dynamic, strong rhythm, and then going back to a spacious thing. And that experience is actually what life can be like. You know? The more we practice this journeying and this entering into altered states, the more we find that we can actually fluidly move from one thing to something completely different and then back again. And it kind of, it rubs off on you, and you start to feel this kind of grace as you move through life and the experiences that life offers you. And that giving thanks is the path of gratitude. You know, we move from being really peaceful and serene within ourselves to something that is really difficult and intense. Give thanks for that, and the transition becomes smooth and graceful. In theory.
But it's not, but it isn't in theory, is it? Because I think those of us that are able to embrace it, you know, it doesn't stop us from getting stressed out occasionally about things, but we manage to be able to calm down very quickly, and we move through things rather than thinking it's through things rather than being held back by things. So it's brilliant. We've got what influences you then on the moment? Is it a voice only or also a feeling? Do you see images?
Okay. I'm a very visual person. I'm an artist, so I do see images. I have a journey that I go on like I'm taking you on. Obviously, it's going to be my own version of it, and I do see it visually, whether my eyes are open or shut. I also do get a voice in my head that tells me what to do. I don't feel the need to know what that is, so I no longer ask. I just do as I'm told, basically. Um, and I have a feeling as well. And it's worth acknowledging that especially when I'm playing the didgeridoo, my breath also determines where I go, and sometimes um, I'll be grooving along on a rhythm, and my breath just I need to change my breath, and so that determines where it goes. Um, that is quite cosmic in itself, really, actually, and it's not something that I've ever really spoken about in such detail. But my emotional state and my mind and my thoughts are also directly connected to my breath, which is affecting my playing, and vice versa. So there is this two-way thing going on here with the practicalities of playing a wind instrument.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Linda says, you're both looking amazing. Great to see you. Thanks, Linda. And she also says, she said, I love it. I want one. And Gwenny says, I danced on a beach, felt the sand beneath my feet as I danced around the fire and felt myself filled with joy. I also danced in the surf, and then my wings opened and I flew. Indescribable beauty and sheer pleasure. Thank you. I have never experienced anything like this before.
That's beautiful.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. We are at the end of our program. Thank you for your sharings and questions, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Sika. Sika, have you got any just last few words that you'd like to share with people?
Keep it real. That is probably the most important thing that I think we need to do. Keep it real, keep it simple, be grateful all the time, and keep well and happy, keep healthy. So, those things. Yeah.
Lovely.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank
everyone that's been listening.
Thank you. Oh, Patricia says, thank you for sharing your profound knowledge and offer a beautiful journey. So thank you. Thank you, folks, for being with us. Thank you, Sika. Next week, we are being joined by Jessica Woods, who is going to be sharing learning to unlearn unconscious programming. So we will look forward to that next week. Have a wonderful week, folks. Malathi is saying thank you so much to both of you, and thank you for your honesty, Sika. So thank you to all of you, folks. Much appreciated, folks. And we will see you again, I hope. Yeah. Anyway, love, peace and light. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.